inspection so that we can see those that are bringing things in that are of good quality and those that may not be. And then there are some cosmetics people that actually make cosmetics in their studio. These people are not well trained to make cosmetics. We need more sensitization. We need to bring them, because sometimes they don't even know. Adding this to that can lead to something down the road. It can lead to cancer. Those who use bleaching, creams or whatever, your skin may be lighter now, but what is going to happen in 10 years? If you keep using the same thing, it's a custom that that person is used to, that person may have cancer. So we have to make sure that our own awareness, our stakeholders' awareness, sensitization, very, very important. And enforcement. We go to do raids at the trade fairs, and it's a continuous battle. We carry tons and tons and tons of seized goods. They go back to do things that, to bring cosmetics in. Our own judicial system is another issue. We don't give the type of sanction or sentence that the violation demands. So it's a multifactorial issues, but we are dealing with them as they come.
As a user of any cosmetic product, a number of factors must be considered critically before making purchase.
There are some telltale signs that you also look out for, the packaging, for example. The packaging, the packaging is supposed to improve the aesthetics of the product. If it's packaged in a way that maybe there's something oozing out from the bottle, that is already a telltale sign that this is not a product that I should be buying. Now, you should also look out for the fact that it is expensive doesn't necessarily translate into the fact that it is good. A lot of people think that if I buy an expensive cosmetic product, it cannot harm me. It can't do me any damage. But that is very false, because people can actually think in that realm. When I say people, I'm talking about those who are packaging it. They can actually think in that realm and think and say, well, if the price is high, it will appeal to a certain audience, and that particular audience would think that this is because this is good, and maybe out of the reach of the ordinary man, that they have put the price so high. But it doesn't entirely mean that it's a good product. We should look out for a valid registration number, NAFDAC registration number. You shouldn't be buying any product. NAFDAC is here to regulate and control. And so any food product that is packaged, any cosmetic product that is packaged, water that is packaged, detergent that is packaged, those are the products that we regulate generally. Without a NAFDAC number is a no-no. Without a NAFDAC number, nobody should even be touching those products in the first place.
NAFDAC from time to time raid the markets to enforce compliance with regulatory standard, as well as sensitize Nigerians whenever a product contains harmful chemicals.
We are still moving on with the issue of, clamping down on people who are doing some of these dangerous or involved in some of these dangerous activities. The clampdown is still on. We will not rest until we eliminate them. We will not rest, because these people, they pose a grave danger to society. What is going on is horrible. People are bringing in chemicals. They tell you you can change your skin to white. That is wrong. And we are also against people who use the social media to sell some of these dangerous items they call cosmetics. We find a whole lot of them. People are selling it on online for what is not registered by the agency. We frown at it, and we are going to prosecute, and we are going to deal with people who are involved in this. If you are black, you should be happy. The color that God has given you If you are light, that is good. You don't have to destroy your body.
Depending on the kind of regions where people reside. So the ones that are meant for Nigeria, or the ones that they want to bring into Nigeria, we shouldn't, because we find them in other countries and want to bring them in. So it has to be tested by NAFDAC to ensure that it is in conformity with the standards that we accept in Nigeria.
The agency's website, www.nafdac.gov.ng, is another platform to keep you abreast of cosmetic products that are harmful, as the Cosmetics Prohibition of Bleaching Cream Regulation 2005 can be found there for the benefits of Nigerians. Before a cosmetic product is approved by NAFDAC, it is subjected to a rigorous laboratory testing in order to ensure that no substandard or unwholesome products find its way into the market.
This unit lab is actually dedicated to testing cosmetic products. A whole range of cosmetic products that are in use in town, they are brought here pre-registration to conduct tests to make sure that they are suitable for use by the populace. And occasionally too, when there is a survey or any course or investigation samples of cosmetics, they are brought here to conduct analysis on them to make sure that they are good. Cosmetic products are products that are formulated either from natural products or synthesized ingredients, and they are formulated and synthesized chemicals, and they are formulated to be used on the body, the skin, to make the skin look good or to take care of the skin. And there are different types of cosmetics. What I have here is a soap. Soap, use it to wash. And the chemical formulation is different from what I have here, which is a cream, a body cream that you rub on the skin, maybe to make it glow or clear blemishes. We have some that are for hair care products. So different types of and we have some that are formulated for children, because children have tender skins. So we have to be sure that whatever they are rubbing, any oil, or any cream, or any facial powder they are rubbing on the toddler's or a baby's skin, has to meet international standard and specification with respect to some chemical components. We see a lot of people that have applied, I will not call them cosmetics now, maybe it's formulated chemicals to their skin, and they suddenly turn white. But I want to assure you that any cosmetics product that pass through this lab, they have done due diligence to carry out regulatory, part of our own regulatory activity, that is testing the product to make sure that it's fit for human use. And the few ones that people are using, in fact, we have two categories now. People formulate things in their beauty spas. They formulate, mix all sorts of chemicals together. They are not formulated, packaged, and sold. They are formulated in situ in a cosmetics shop somewhere. No label, they don't know the ingredients they are in those products, and that is the danger, because they are difficult to regulate. Then we have products that are formulated, that we regulate, that come to the laboratory, and those products, we make sure that all forms of contaminants and substances that are not supposed to be in those products are not there. For instance, we don't allow hydroquinone more than 2%. It has a skin lightening effect, but if it is more than 2% hydroquinone, we're not going to allow it.
NAFDAC and your else will be back after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, the program is NAFDAC and your else. In continuation of its public enlightenment program as a regulatory agency, NAFDAC takes its campaign against the use of hazardous chemicals for cosmetics to media practitioners at a sensitization workshop on dangers of bleaching creams and regulatory controls.
They use light-skinned people. They want to do yogurt, they use light-skinned people. They want to use toothpaste, it is light-skinned people. Because I don't understand. In fact, I have read somewhere that they said, the camera catches the people that are light better. Is it true? Than the dark. Is that the issue? Because I've heard the people in movie industry say that that they don't like putting people that are dark skinned in certain roles because to make them up and project them before the camera is harder work. I don't know if that is true.
You need more light.
You need more light. Thank you. So that is where we also need to work on. So if our people, our darkness, our culture does not accept light, we must get to the point that we will have to break it and get something that will make our own blackness also well projected, because we can't keep lighting our skin because we want to be seen in the camera. Okay, so like low self-esteem, some people, peer pressure. So there are a lot of reasons why people would want to actually bleach, but is it right? It's not right because of the health benefits or the health challenges. Measures for reducing this skin bleaching. So the one thing we can do is to institute legislative action, like NAFDAC is doing. So there could also be ban and enforcement of this ban, like mercury. Mercury is banned in Nigeria, like I said earlier. If you see any product containing mercury, please do not use it because NAFDAC cannot authorize such. Also, regulation of the use and enforcement, like in hydroquinone, like I said earlier, 2%, anything higher than 2% is not acceptable, and NAFDAC will not approve it. So if you look at any ingredient list and it has more than 2%, it's not approved by NAFDAC, it's not possible. Don't use. And then continuous education like we're doing today, sensitization programs, grassroots sensitization, all of this would help us to actually deal with this. Like we know, NAFDAC is empowered to regulate and control all of these concerning cosmetics and other regulated products. And so by this mandate, NAFDAC has the primary responsibility to ensure that cosmetics are safe, effective, and of good quality. That's NAFDAC mandate on cosmetics. So that is the law backing us up. That's why we're here today. Next. So what has NAFDAC done? We have regulations, we have guidelines, and we have other regulatory activities that we have put in place to help us to ensure that we meet this mandate, which is one of the things we're doing today. If you go to the website, www.nafdac.gov.ng, you see all of our guidelines, our regulations on NAFDAC's mandate. So a few of the regulations are this. We have a cosmetics prohibition of bleaching agents regulation 2005. So it's not today NAFDAC put up this kind of regulation. So NAFDAC is strong against bleaching agents. Next. What does that regulation say? It expressly prohibits the use of unsafe cosmetics products, and in particular the use in cosmetics of bleaching agents, corticosteroids, mercury, and mercury compounds that are listed in the Schedule 1 of that regulation. Medical experts postulate that the obsession for fair skin is an obsession, and that obsession must be dealt with in order to abolish the skin bleaching menace. In other words, we must create a society where dark-colored women are respected in all ramifications. Let's create a society where we respect people even for their color, and in doing that, we have dealt with that.
Safe handling of the cosmetic we use and the understanding of the health implications of its chemical composition is quite germane.
Everybody uses cosmetics, including, I'm just talking to you now, because this morning, everybody you had your part. The soap is cosmetics. If you take some creams, or maybe you use them by whatever means, or hair or whatever, is cosmetics. And all of them, they are just different types of chemical compounds of this cosmetic. That means that two people can use the same cosmetic product, but the impact on their body, their skin, hair, nails, whatever is never going to be the same. The first thing is the kind and amount of chemical ingredients that are used for the formulation. That's number one. That means you can have two types of soap. Soap 1, soap 2. It's not the same. It's not the same. depends on the pressure. These three things determine whether the chemical reaction will be slow or fast or moderate or whatever. And then the next one is maybe they talk about catalyst being added. Those are the things that affect the rate of chemical reaction, the speed of the reaction. Number 3 is the personal skin condition. Then number 4 is environmental situation. You have different seasons, whether hot, cold, harmattan, whatever, dusty environment, or otherwise. Those are the things that determine whatever is going to happen in the usage of cosmetics. Next one, please. Now, whether cosmetics are harmful or whatever, there are regulations that guide them. So it is very important to know what ingredients are used, what ingredients are toxic, and how to identify them. Cosmetic ingredient, what should you avoid? Because the manufacturers of cosmetics, their packaging is just fantastic. I went to a particular company in Kano. When they showed me the packaging alone, it was something else. Then I was wondering, I didn't know that this product was made here in Nigeria. They say yes, it was made here in Nigeria. But I looked at it, what was inside would be the same thing that was inside another product. But the packaging alone will make you to want to use this other one. Packaging. And that's why to be able to sell cosmetics, the packaging is one thing. But beyond that packaging, what is inside? And that takes me to all this compound. I'm going to mention a number of them. Please just, let's go along. The first one is methyl methacrylate. And methyl methacrylate is used in nail for your nail, fingernails. Now, what is there? Methyl methacrylate as a compound has been known to cause cancer. It has been known to cause what we refer to as developmental toxicity or reproductive toxicity. What do I mean by that?
The e-commerce window has created an avenue for quacks to promote skin lightening products, which is becoming a challenge for the agency to regulate.
And we're talking about sourcing. Where do you source your cosmetics from? How do you source it? Where do you source from? Anything that does not have a link from the company until it gets to you, a proper established link, there is a problem with faking. You could have somebody come in there, adulterate, or bring in something in that supply chain. Then we have the issue of e-commerce. People don't want to go to the mall. I hate going to the market. I hate going to the mall. Sitting down and having these Okada boys come and me paying 2,000 naira for whatever delivery when I saw online appeals to me. And I know it appeals to a lot of people. But we have to be sure we know where those things are coming from. We're having issues with the online space. And we want you to help us as we go out there educating Nigerians. We have issues of ingredients. There's a lot of fraud. People claim that something is what it's not. They tell you that they are selling you castor oil, Jamaican castor oil. None. They put even olive oil from olives. We've had cases where people use mineral oil. If you taste olive oil, it's tart, it's bland. But what people do is that they use mineral oil as a substitute. In their houses, they bottle it, cork it. Packaging is it's not rocket science, and it's sold as anointing oil. Honey, the same thing. We will come to honey. Fraud. We have issues of formulations that I have talked about. Then toxicology. How does this thing affect you? How does it affect your unborn child? Then the issue of labeling. The issue of claims. Nigerians can claim what they don't know. You do like this, claim. Then the use of restricted chemicals. We talked about, the last presenter talked about the use of triethanol in neem. It is a restricted chemical, but it's used in cosmetics.
While it is established that hydroquinone, when it is beyond 2%, and mercury are hazardous, Nigerians are advised to be circumspect when applying different chemical composition on their body.
I want to go a little beyond, next slide, to hydroquinone proper. The reason why I'm taking hydroquinone is the gold standard. I'm going to take us through what happens when we bleach. One lady asked, how, when the last speaker spoke? I will show you so that you see it is not magic. And I want to guarantee you that after you've seen this, if you see those things, you will run. Now, hydroquinone is used to treat pigmentation-related acne scars, freckles, melasma, age spots, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, reducing the melanin pigment producing cells. It reduces melanocytes. Hydroquinone is unstable. Because it is unstable, when you look at those creams, it easily gets oxidized. You will notice that you open that cream, it's brownish. How many of you have ever opened a cream? From white, it becomes brown, it changes color. That cream contains hydroquinone. It's unstable. Yes, they may not have declared it. They may have called it a name that you don't know. If you decide to use hydroquinone on your own, fine. But if you don't know, I don't want to bleach. And I don't know what concentration this man has declared in his formulation.
The role of the mass media in promoting public health in Nigeria is also emphasized at the workshop.
One of the key things that we see through communication is behavior change. Behavior change using communication. Of course, given enough time and money, mass media campaigns occasionally may operate directly to change some health-related behavior, much as product advertising can successfully pre-sell certain low-price consumer grocery and drug items, giving advertising models that are large enough to achieve adequate levels of exposure. But the point is that there are other possible outcomes of public health advertising and publicity. Mass media campaigns are more likely to be effective if they are based on an understanding of relevant demographic, psychological, and sociological characteristics and experiences of the target consumers. And since consumer behavior literature within the public health field is not ordinarily geared to practical marketing planning, it is quite probable that literature reviews will need to be supplemented with primary research.
That's how we wrap up this week's edition of the program. Make it a date with us, same time, same station, next week for another edition of the program. Meanwhile, if you have comments, complaints, or you want to report activities of fake drugs or adulterated food product peddlers, our doors are always open. You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, please call 0800 162 3322 or email nafdac@nafdac.gov.ng. Be part of the fight to safeguard the health of our nation. Stay safe always. See you next week.
Of the assets transfer, settlement and exit agreement which held at the NNPC Towers. The closing out ceremony was a culmination of the fulfillment of all closing obligations after the execution of the agreement, which saw the transfer of PSC oil mining leases OMLs 123, 124 and 126, 137 from ADAX to the NNPC. These oil mining leases were hitherto being operated by ADAX, were on 1st November 2022 handed to the erstwhile concessionaire NNPC Limited. The asset transfer and exit negotiations and formalities were concluded in collaboration with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, NUPRC, NMDPRA, FIRS, EFCC, and the FCCPC. With the fulfillment of the closing obligations by the parties, and effective January 31st, 2023, OMLs 123, 124, and 126, 137 have been transferred to Antan Producing Limited on an interim basis through the transition period pending the emplacement of a substantive replacement PSC in compliance with the directive of Mr. President. Speaking at the event, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Malamele Kyari, announced the appointment of Mr. Segiru Jajere as the Managing Director of Antan Producing Limited, with the mandates to commence the operation of the assets.
We are also conscious of the fact that this amicable settlement is a message for the whole world that our country is becoming a very reliable fiscal environment. We keep to our agreements. And also, as a country, we are ready for business. I think this is a clear message that has come out, and we believe that this closure will also further soften the already very cordial relationship between the People's Republic of China and Nigeria. And we thank Mr. President for making this possible for all of us, and we'll continue to work collaboratively to ensure that value is returned to our country.
Mr. Jajere was, before his appointment, the head of PSC Investment Management at the NNPC Upstream Investment Management Services NUIMS. He will be supported by a team of highly competent personnel with in-depth knowledge of the peculiarities of the ADAX assets. The Managing Director of ADAX, Mr. Yunghong Chen, who signed the closing out document, has this to say about the event.
This demonstrates the power of collaboration, which has resulted in restoration and strengthening of a relationship between NNPC and ADAX on the one hand, and on our dear two countries, Nigeria and China, on the other hand.
It is expected that with the transfer of the assets to NNPC Limited, the required investment flow to guarantee sustained production activities that will create value for the PSC, government and other stakeholders will be enjoyed. Another giant step towards gaining self-sufficiency in local refining of petroleum products with a view to exiting the current system of fuel importation was taken by the NNPC Limited when it signed a quick fix maintenance contract with Daewoo Engineering Construction Nigeria Limited for the rehabilitation of the 110,000 barrels per day capacity Kaduna refinery. Giving a background to the deal, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Malamele Kyari, disclosed that it was a follow-up on the commitment made by NNPC Limited and Daewoo during President Muhammadu Buhari's visit to South Korea last year. He said that with the signing of the contract for the rehabilitation of Kaduna refinery, there was hope of restoring the nation's 18 million litres of petrol per day production, which would complement the potential start-off of the Dangote refinery, where NNPC Limited has 20% equity.
We are very, very hopeful that even this year, this country will be self-sufficient in the supply of petroleum products into our country, particularly gasoline. And therefore, this is a very, very important event for us. We have done so much work with you. We're happy with the work you are doing at the Warri refinery. We're also convinced that you can deliver both projects, both the one in Kaduna and the one in Warri. Assurances are given both of financing of this project, that of the safety and security of your personnel who will work here, and also ultimately your capacity to deliver is not in doubt whatsoever.
In his remarks, the Executive Vice President, Downstream Engineer Adeyemi Adetunji, described the deal as a milestone, considering that the last turnaround maintenance carried out on the Kaduna refinery was done 15 years ago.
This project was framed after extensive engagement with Daewoo on the quick fix strategy to repair and restream the Kaduna Refinery and Petrochemicals Company Limited. The project will be executed in 3 work packages, and the estimated contract sum is $740,669,600 with a duration of 21 months. The quick fix strategy guarantees the fastest route to restreaming WRPC and KRPC for in-country production of petroleum products.
On his part, the managing director of Daewoo Engineering and Construction Nigeria Limited, Jong Taiwan, expressed gratitude to NNPC Limited for giving his company the opportunity to work and pledged that his company will deliver the project to specification and to the satisfaction of Nigerians.
I'd like to express my appreciation to NNPC and KRPC for giving us this great opportunity to serve you through this project, and we are honored to extend our business relationship not long after signing the YD. Quick Fix is prepared and ready to deliver a remarkable plan in terms of quality, costs, and schedule to your full satisfaction.
The current fuel queues being experienced in parts of the country will soon be a thing of the past as the NNPC Limited and critical stakeholders in the downstream sector came to an agreement on a feasible ex-depot price for premium motor spirit PMS, popularly known as petrol. The agreement on the ex-depot price was reached at a meeting of critical downstream sector stakeholders held at the NNPC towers to find lasting solutions to the fuel supply challenge. Speaking at the end of the meeting, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Malamele Kyari, said that with all the major stakeholders in the fuel supply and distribution system in full agreement over the new ex-depot price, the days of fuel queues will be over very soon, stressing that any marketer found operating in breach of the agreement will be brought to book by security agencies.
We have all met. We have reviewed the current product distribution situation in the country, and we are now convinced that with the sufficient supply that is available and with some changes to the framework that we have in place today, we will have normalcy, as is already showing up in very many locations today in the country. A key issue of pricing has been discussed, and we have collectively agreed to bring down the ex-depot price to levels that are known to government, so that ultimately the pump prices at its locations of dispense will now become much lower than what we are seeing today, and this will clearly bring some sanity around the pricing in the country, and normalcy will soon resume.
Also speaking, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Authority, Engineer Farouk Ahmed, said the agency will step up monitoring and enforcement to ensure that all the parties operate in compliance with the agreement.
As far as the regulator is concerned, we are going to make sure that we have strict monitoring and enforcement alongside the government security and law enforcement agents. And hopefully that there will be no need to go into that, because we all agree as gentlemen and women that we will comply with the agreement that we have here and ensure that promptly we shall ensure that product flows at the regulated or rather agreed price.
The representatives of the stakeholders, including the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, MOMAN, Depot and Petroleum Product Marketers Association of Nigeria, DAPMAN, and Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, also shared their position on the agreement.
We really do apologize that we've had to find ourselves in this difficult situation where people have to queue for so long. And then we do assure that with all the measures that have been agreed today, it's going to be free flow of products at agreed prices which we believe are most reasonable for Nigerians.
With the assurances from every stakeholder today, we believe everybody will play to the rules of the game moving forward.
Earlier, at an expanded stakeholders meeting held to x-ray the challenges and market realities that led to the crisis, the GCEO of NNPC, Malamele Kyari, had disclosed that pricing and distribution logistics were the major issues. He said emphasis would be placed on monitoring to ensure that products reach their destinations and are dispensed at government-approved price.
The engagement between NNPC, the Nigerian Ministry of Downstream Regulatory Authority, government security agencies, and the marketing companies of all categories, from the major marketers to the depot owners and also non-associated members of the trading platforms, have sat down and we have reviewed the situation, and we have recognized that pricing is a major issue in the challenges that we are facing around distribution of PMS in our country. Of course, there are other issues, including logistic issues associated with distribution, and these matters are now being carefully resolved.
He noted that most of the queues were largely around stations belonging to NNPC Retail, major marketers and others who sell at government-approved prices. While expressing regret at the situation, he assured that it will be brought under control in no distant time.
We are putting up a very enormous framework for monitoring, so that every truck that leaves every depot, we ensure that it gets to the depot, particularly for major cities in the country where those products must be delivered. There is no problem of supply. It is a challenge of dislocation of where this product ends up with.
In his remarks, the Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo said that the federal government is not handicapped and can resolve the crisis using several options, but expressed the hope that the situation will be brought under control by the stakeholders through the engagement.
I have the mandate of Mr. President to come to say that because it is a crisis of internal nature, which of course the police and other security agencies should lead, that if it's getting across the threshold that affects our defense and security, to let us know that we do not, the government is actually not handicapped. There is an alternative.
Some of the stakeholders gave their perspectives on the issues.
I think it is our role to assist the NNPC in monitoring the process of distribution, if that will give us a leeway to the problem.
When we talk about the regulations, sometimes in the past, people only see the amount of money the country is spending. They forget that the industry itself does not invest appropriately in the equipment, in all the things that we need across the whole value chain to make sure that product continues to be in supply.
In recent time, gradually the cost of a truck has gone higher. To fix a truck now, you need about 60 million naira. So what is the return of investment of that 60 million naira? Business alternative business that you could have done, opportunity cost.
It's the right time to really call ourselves to order and do what is most necessary.
Ahead of the forthcoming general elections in the country, the national oil company NNPC Limited has pledged to support the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC by guaranteeing fuel supply to the over 100,000 vehicles the electoral body intends to deploy for duty during the election. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Malamele Kyari, made the commitment during a visit by the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to the NNPC towers. The INEC chairman disclosed the huge logistic outlay required for the election.
Nigerian election is huge and complex. Election is the biggest logistical operation that Nigeria undertakes every 4 years. There is nothing like election, not in peacetime, not in wartime, in terms of the sheer magnitude of preparations. The Commission is mobilizing 100,000 vehicles and 40,000 boats for the deployment of personnel and materials to 176,846 polling units spread across 8,809 registration areas or electoral wards in 774 local government areas nationwide. We would like to appeal to you to consider the following proposals. The use of the NNPC mega land and floating stations nationwide to service our election duty vehicles and boats. We will bear the cost of the product, but by doing so, there will be guaranteed supply for the election.
Responding to the request by the INEC chairman for support in providing fuel for its vehicles to facilitate seamless logistics for the general election, the GCEO said NNPC Limited is very ready to contribute its quota to the success of the election and the growth of democracy in Nigeria.
We're always conscious of the necessity to provide support to INEC whenever elections take place. Today is very different. As the chairman, is not just an honor to NNPC, but it's also a challenge to us to come into the equation of making sure that we have a stable political system in our country, and we will be happy to contribute to this.
The chairman of INEC commended the management of NNPC Limited for its openness and commitment to the national interest.
Did you know that on the 25th of January 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari signed an Executive Order number 7 titled Road Infrastructure Development and Refurbishment Investment Tax Credit Scheme? Did you know that the scheme seeks to encourage public-private partnership intervention in the construction and refurbishment of road infrastructure projects in Nigeria? Did you also know that the Federal Executive Council (FEC) has given NNPC Limited the approval to invest in the reconstruction of 65 road projects across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country? Did you know that by this approval, NNPC will construct a total of 6,358.6 kilometers of road network? Did you also know that these roads are public infrastructure which will aid smooth and efficient distribution of petroleum products as well as goods and services nationwide? Now you know.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices inched higher on Monday, recovering from an 8% fall last week to more than 3-week lows, driven by expectations slower growth in major economies may limit fuel use. Brent crude futures rose 17 cents or 0.2% to $80.11 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude futures slipped a cent to $73.38 a barrel. Last Friday, WTI and Brent slid 3% after strong U.S. jobs data raised concerns the Federal Reserve would keep raising interest rates, which in turn boosted the dollar. A strong dollar typically reduces demand for dollar-denominated oil from buyers paying with other currencies. While recession fears dominated the market last week, on Sunday, International Energy Agency IEA Executive Director Fatih Birol said China's recovery remains a driver for oil prices. The IEA expects half of global oil demand growth this year to come from China, where Birol said jet fuel demand was surging. Depending on how strong that recovery is, he said, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and allies together called OPEC Plus, may have to reassess their decision to cut output by 2 million barrels per day through 2023. That's it on this segment of the program. I am Owigo Okolo.
What do we do at NNPC? Since inception as the National Oil Company of Nigeria, our mandate has been to serve the nation by regulating the oil and gas sector and meeting the energy needs of over 200 million people. Over the years, we have invested in tomorrow's leaders and contributed to the development of communities across the nation. We have grown a network of over 500 service stations. We are the driving force behind the constantly growing Nigerian economy. With an efficient distribution network servicing all parts of the country, we ensure the highest quality standards in our crude refining processes. Nigeria boasts of immense oil and gas reserves which we explore in commercial quantities, providing endless opportunities for economic development. As we drilled for oil, we discovered vast amounts of gas, up to 200 trillion scf. By harnessing gas, we have reduced gas flaring and invested in liquefaction plants, shipping gas across the globe. Our energy footprint is remarkable. We supply gas to the domestic market for power generation, reaching all across Nigeria. Powering everything, anywhere, and everywhere. NNPC, energy for today, energy for tomorrow.
Oh, energy for tomorrow. So come on, let's go.
Thank you for joining us again. Great takeaway for this edition is a lifeline for the Kaduna refinery, in addition to other positives for the sector. Keep the date next week. Bye-bye now.
A body has been found, possibly a child.
I think I have something.
I think it's another ritual murder.
Stop!
Hold on. That's the car we saw this morning.
So what do we know about these so-called senior cult members?
It appears their real strength lies in their members now in government, judiciary, business, and the police.
Now, this is getting interesting.
Latest entrant, latest technology. Welcome to Intel 4G LTE Advanced and experience super fast internet access today. Visit intel.com.ng or any of our stores in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt to get started. Intel. Live more.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International, your window to the world.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels. Leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
What is happening? Your eyes are red. You are armed with a machete and a gun.
See, I am angry and I can't even contain it. See.
Oh, my guy, calm down, calm down.
See, Oga, I have planned to go and destroy these people's businesses in the city. I have to retaliate for what they've done at their own place. They cannot eat their cake and have it now, never.
If you destroy their business here, and they destroy that of those close to you over there, especially that your brother who sends you steady cash, how would you survive? Would your dreams be on hold?
See, what you're saying is correct. But I'm still angry.
best way is to embrace peace. With peace and unity,
my people,
our country will be
let
a
us
better
embrace
place.
peace and unity. Let's learn to live as brothers and sisters for a progressive, prosperous nation. This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Our pastors, our imams, in
NTA, you can't beat the reach.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to Vision TV.
Thank you.
New Naira notes. President Buhari engages Governors Forum.
Confident that these actions will further reassure voters of their safety during the elections and of a free, fair, and peaceful process.
2023 elections. INEC meets service chiefs and CBN.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is contributing to priority areas, which is enhancing social inclusion and reduce poverty.
Plus, more than 15 million poor and vulnerable impacted in the last 3.5 years as PMB scorecard series continues. Hello and a warm welcome to NTA Network News at 9. I am Ian Ray John and we're live in Abuja. Adiola Komiokere joins me from Lagos. Thank you for joining us. And just so you know, you can watch this news live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now, and other social media platforms displayed on your screen for updates. The second review report of the Federal Republic of Nigeria conducted by AUDA NEPAD and the African Peer Review Mechanism has been launched. Also launched is the National Program of Action aimed at ensuring effective implementation of the report towards enhancing good governance and welfare of the nation's citizens. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, restated his administration's resolve towards entrenching democracy and quality leadership in all aspects of governance. State House correspondent Adam Musambo has the details.
The report of the second country review of Nigeria are judged to have been carried out independently, professionally, creditably, and with integrity is one of the fastest in the history of the African peer review mechanism, covering 4 thematic areas including democracy and political governance, economic governance and management, corporate governance, and socio-economic development. The report has an all-embracing objective of improving Nigeria's security, economy, fight against corruption, and good governance.
As a government, we are proud of the steady progress being made in the country, as stated by the report, and we will continue to support the African Peer Review Mechanism process and to ensure adequate monitoring and evaluation of the report implementation. implementation. Nigeria will continue to support Africa's renewal and rebirth, which is vivid in the collective commitment to the principles and guidelines of the African Peer Review Mechanism in order to consolidate Africa's path to healthy democracy, sustainable growth, and development.
Describing the document as important to Nigeria as a democratic nation built on true federalism and good governance, the president was emphatic that his commitment to the second country review was born out of his undiluted resolve towards ensuring that Nigeria does not lag behind